What is up, guys? Icy Clench here. I'm excited to release the Conquest simulator I have recently completed, at least the current build. Let's just run it. You'll see it's version 1.4. I'll just run it. So first thing you'll notice is this options menu. Actually, before I get to the options menu, I should say you're going to want a notepad file called defaultgameoptions.txt in the same folder. And I'll show you how to format that as we go along. So, first starting off, you're just going to want to have some braces. Those are the curly ones like this. Just leave an empty space inside of those for now. But basically it's going to read this file, and if you have nothing in the file, like it's blank, then it's going to set all of these options to whatever the default would be. So for example, the foot soldier health defaults to 300. Now in this options menu, you can change many things. You can change the way the units move. The default I would recommend is this diagonal teleport, because that's going to be what Conquest normally uses. Taxi cab mode basically means they can't move diagonally, and the diagonal teleport is a bit different from the diagonal movement, because you can move around units one space, but with diagonal movement it has to be completely unobstructed. So if you have a unit on your side, you can't move diagonally. But this teleport option will allow you to phase through units and walls, just in case the diagonal teleport doesn't fully extend over the range that your units can move. So let's say there's a specific way you can actually get into the wall, but I programmed it slightly incorrectly and you can't reach that last square you need. You're going to want to check teleport, and then that'll allow you to get all the way in there. And you have an option for chastising the last unit. You can make it so the enemies don't hit you back. You can actually make it so you can attack your allies, and you can set if they hit you back. This will be if you want to do something like make mages heal. You're going to give them negative damage, and then if you disable ally retaliation, your mage will effectively act as a healer. You'll also have this option for having multiple of the same command. There's leftovers to your command point pool, and let's say your squad resources after you're done is 200, those will go right into your starting command points. Although I don't believe I have this implemented quite yet. So commands on all units will allow you to chastise your own units, and it will also allow you to use something like battle cry on an enemy unit. And you'll see now we have a bunch of numbers we can change. Board length and board width, those are the two that actually I don't want you to change. I just have those as placeholders. You have the maximum number of units and commands, and you'll see command points per turn. This is normally 25, but I have it set to 50. So let me show you how to do that right now. What you're going to do in this notepad file you made, you're going to look at exactly how this is spelled. Capital CP and then lowercase per turn with spaces in between. So you're just going to type in CP space per turn, and then you type a colon and the number you want it to default at. So For example, I would type in 50 here. And now let's say you want to set something else. You just hit enter and you can type something else in, like Battle Cry health buff. Maybe you want it to only give 100 extra HP. You can do that. And you just type that in here with a colon and the other value you want it at. And for these checkboxes, you can also have these set by default. You just type in the name, a colon, and then either true or false, all lowercase. Now, you're done setting all your options. You might notice you can set all the unit stats, movement, range, health, damage, cost, and you can set cooldowns and costs for commands. You might also notice I added in the monsters from the Void Stairs back. So Defilers, Ravagers, Shifters, Spinners, Torchers, Splatters. And I actually like the Splatters because I did implement them to work exactly as they should. When a Splatter attacks something or is attacked, he actually explodes and damages everything around him. But we continue, and now you'll notice these presets. Now, if you're just starting off, you won't have any presets. These won't exist, so you can't click anything. I'll show you how to make presets in a minute. But let's just say we have our preset set up already, and you can just click anti-rush and continue. But of course, if you don't have any, you're going to have to click new preset. And you can set your units on the board. Now you're going to want to remember, if you're playing black, you actually want your wall to be on the bottom. So I'll just make a kind of rush set. Maybe it's not 100% accurate, but okay, so yeah, black's going to be at the top, so the white units will advance from the bottom to the top. Black will advance from top to bottom. So you want your wall to be on the bottom if you're black. You're going to want to remember that. And you hit continue, and when both players have their sets set up, you'll enter a game. So you'll see a few new things in this game. You'll notice this little text area on the side. You'll notice I have some blue bars at the top and bottom. What you do is you just put your mouse right in the blue area and it scrolls all the way to the top or all the way to the bottom. That way you don't have to use this very slow scroller or, you know, click and drag this all the way. You can just mouse to the top or mouse to the bottom really quickly, really easy. So let's talk about the presets now. You'll notice these two sets have some characters. What you're going to do is, for player one set, you're going to take the first option. For the second player set, you take the second one. So you highlight it, you hit Control-C, because you can't right-click and do copy. That doesn't have any functionality. And you're going to go back, and so let's say we want to make a preset for player one. We're going to go and we're going to paste that right in to this blank area. And now that'll show up when you start a new game and you save this as, don't forget to save this as default game options.txt in the same folder as you have your jar file. So if you want more than one, you hit enter and you put a comma, and then you're going to put the second set. So maybe for white, I want, you know, a backwards rush set. You just paste that right in. And don't leave any extra spaces like this lying around. That might mess it up. But you're going to put a comma in between here. Now remember, for the options, you don't put commas. You're just going to put a new line. But for the sets, you want commas. And that will do it for your your options and your sets. So you can save that. I already have one of these files, so I'm not going to save that. I'm just going to close it. Now let's actually begin to play the game. So you should be familiar with the squares lighting up. You can hit end turn, and look at that, black has 50 command points already because I set that option. Now let's just trade some units. You'll notice as I click end turn, there are some notations popping up. And it might not be very human friendly to read, but you can certainly figure it out very easily. So you'll notice it says 17,7 for move 1, and all that means is I selected square 17,7. So the top left square is going to be 0, 0. You'll notice that in the tooltip text, and as you go down, the first number increases, and as you go right, the second number increases. So this is 0, 19. This is 19, 0, and this is 19, 19. So you'll go and you'll find 17, 7, which is right here. And you'll see next it says M 11, 7, which means I moved whatever was selected, which would be this square, which was selected. I moved it to 11, 7, which is right here. And you'll see something similar for the second turn, which is black's turn. White has the odd numbered turns and black has the even numbered turns. And these will cover movement and selecting something. So let's say I select this scout, I move him up, and now he's going to attack this scout. So he highlights red. You'll notice it's a bit different from what I was using before. So you click it, he attacks, he dies, he gets removed from the board, and you can hit end turn. And you'll notice now we have this X86, and the X means he attacked on 8-6. Now, one thing you want to know is when you're selecting units, and you select a bunch of them before you make your move, because you're kind of indecisive about it, you can select a bunch of them, make a move, and hit end turn, and you'll notice all of those selections will show up, although only the last one is what's going to matter. So let's say white wants to use a command now. Okay, so let's see. Let's give him a few more command points. I'll just hit end turn twice, and you'll see blank moves. So he's got some more command points now. So let's just say he wants to chastise this champion, right? And you'll see he's got a minus now, and that's going to show you that he's got the chastise applied to him. And you can also have battle cry on this scout, let's say. Now he'll have a little green plus over him when he has some sort of a good command applied to him. So you'll see it says he has 300 attack now. That's from the battle cry, and it'll tell you sponge HP 200. You'll notice that's different from the real HP. So the sponge HP goes away at the start of white's next turn. So you should be familiar with, let's say black hits this scout who has battle cry down to 200 HP. He's still going to survive because it's the extra health from the battle cry that was taken away. It wasn't his actual HP. So at the end of the turn, it does not subtract, just 200 HP for the battle cry. It actually gets rid of whatever that sponge HP was. So you can keep track of which one is the weakened champion. Let's say One of them has 500 HP and the other has 100, but he has stoicism. You can look and remember which one was weakened. So we can, move and attack, and end our turn. You'll notice, oh, I messed something up. He shouldn't be able to move. Don't worry, I'll fix that. But yeah, let's just apply another command. Let's say shield wall. And you'll see when you hover over him, it'll tell you if he's got anything special, like shield wall or vigilance. And it'll tell you at the bottom active effects, and it'll list them. So shield wall, vigilance, I don't remember if there might have chastise, I forget. But it'll tell you anything special that's happening. So you'll also notice this undo button in the corner. So let's say, Black says, hey, I didn't really want to use shield wall on this scout. That was kind of silly. He's only got 100 HP. You can hit undo. And you kind of have to ignore that little error that'll happen sometimes if you have blank moves. But, it'll remove the shield wall from this scout. And now he can... Oh, I'm sorry. So what happens is now it's White's turn from when he last moved. So it goes back to the start of White's move. So let's say I move this scout and I attack the other scout and hit end turn. Now when it's Black's turn, if you hit undo, you'll see it'll go back to the start of White's turn again. Although, let's say White takes and he doesn't hit end turn, if he has some moves that he played and he hits undo, it'll be his turn. So if you have made a move, it'll go back to the start of your move. If you haven't made a move, it'll go back to the start of your opponent's last move. So if you don't want to get that little error message, but you don't want to move anything, all you have to do is just select a unit and then hit end turn, because when you click undo, it goes back through all of these moves and actually has to play them again. So it'll find something empty and just give you an error because it doesn't really know what to play. Although I might fix that when I put the link in the description. Anyhow, let's see, what else? The reason I don't close the game after this is because, maybe you want to hit undo, and I really wish I hadn't made this blank move, but I might fix that as well by the time I put the link in the description. But yeah, if you guys see any other kind of little bugs that I perhaps missed, be sure to let me know in the comments or with a message. Okay, one final note I wanted to make. First, I updated that little bug with the undo button if you hadn't made a move, so that's dandy now. And second, I did update chastise, so they can't select the unit anymore. But lastly, I forgot to make a final note about the notation system. So you'll see this is 386, and all that really means is I used command number 3, which is actually the command number 4. This is command 0 at the top. So I actually used this fourth command on 8, 6, which is this square right here. So that'll cover all the commands except Winds of Fate. Let me spam click this to get some command points. Okay, so Winds of Fate. The way Winds of Fate is going to work is, okay, so I use Chastise on this scout, and now I clicked Winds of Fate, and oh, did that not update? Anyways, the label didn't update, but it did cool down. So you'll notice it'll say W, something, and that just means Winds of Fate for the W, and the 3 means that the third, which is actually the fourth command, was cooled down. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So it acted on this command. But don't worry, I promise I will update this little cooldown whenever you hit Winds of Fate. But yeah, other than that, that's my final note. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I will be doing some conquest analysis with this tool I have made. Perhaps some of you will also do some conquest analysis with it. Perhaps Rage Conquest will. But yeah, link is in the description. And that'll be the end of it. When you're done, you can just hit the X, you know? So hit the X, you know, you're done with your game. And that'll be all. Peace out. Let's see, you're gonna love the ending here, I guarantee it. 10 out of 10, a winner is you.